Hi Al, welcome back to BRR Knowledge Center. So in this session, we'll talk about how to restrict or hide databases and how to see only the required database in the SQL Server instance. So let us take an example. I have a couple of databases in my SQL Server instance, and I wanted to display or give a permission to the specific user to show only one database instead of all databases in the SQL Server instance, right? So there's nothing but restricting access of different databases in the same SQL Server instance to the user. So how to do that? So let's open the SQL Server Management Visual Studio or Manage Studio, and this is what the SQL Server Management Studio here. And I'm going to connect my local database here. This is what my SQL Server instance, and I'm just logging with my sub password. And if you look at here, I have a couple of databases, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are different databases I have right now in my SQL Server. And if I log in with SA login, I'm able to see all the databases, and I can see all the database tables, and all the stuff which I'm already having it in the SQL Server, including my stored procedures and functions, etc., etc. Now I wanted to hide all these databases, and I wanted to see only one database. Let us take an example. I'm going to create a database here, employee database, and I wanted to set the owner to this database as one of the user already created in the SQL Server. I have a bearer DB1 and DB2 and say users already there in my SQL Server database, and all the users are having all the logins. So I'm just assigning this bearer user as owner to this database and clicking on OK, and just click on OK and then click on OK. Now what it is going to do was my now this employee DB was the default owned by a BRR user. So if you look at my SQL Server security logins here, I have a couple of users here, and this particular user is mapped to this particular DB. Now when you disconnect and when you log in with SA password, so what it is doing is it is going to display all the databases, all right? And I don't want to display all the databases because I want to see only this particular employee DB. So for this, what you need to do was you go to this security and select the user which you have already mapped to employee DB, and go to this securables, and here you have permissions here. And if you look at here, view any database or view any database for SA. So for this view any database, I'm going to say that deny, and clicking on that, what it is going to do was it is going to restrict any showing of all these databases to the particular user. I'm just disconnecting my user SQL Server, and I'm again connecting. This time I'm logging with the BRR, and I'm just logging this BRR, and the password was, when I log in with my BRR login, and I can see only my employee DB, but not all other databases. Got it? So this is how I'm going to restrict to showcase all existing databases apart from my relevant database. That way I'm going to provide a security to my different databases which got already restored in the same SQL Server instance from specific user. That's how I'm going to manage or provide security or protect my database details like DB objects in other databases from outside logins. So what I'm going to do was I'm just going to create logins here, and those logins are having proper permissions to restrict other databases. So here I can see this particular SQL Server instance or database mapped with BRR, and this particular BRR login is having the permissions saying that view any database got a grant or denied, right? Not grant. So when it is that particular configuration option was checked or configured to this user, and using this user, if you log into your SQL Server instance, then it is going to hide all the other databases, because you configure that view any database option was not denied, and it only displays the mapping database. Here I mapped my this particular user database to BRR user, right? If you look at here, my employee DB is now having user was a BRR, right? So this particular user is having permission saying that view any database was no true false. That means denied. That's why the database is got hidden here. This is the way of securing your databases. Sometimes you may have a kind of a requirement, like you have one SQL Server instance and you wanted to install different databases, like development or production or live or UAT, and you wanted to restrict a couple of databases, like you don't want to display the live or production database to the users who are going to log into your SQL Server instance. Then what you need to do is you need to create a separate users for each database, and you map that particular user to relevant database and configure the option which I've already shown in the user properties. And that's how you are going to restrict access to other databases to the user which are coming or logging through SQL Server Management Visual Studio. So I hope you understand how to restrict access to other databases using SQL Server Management Studio with the user properties, right? And again, if you go back and log in with SCA, and you just log in through here, you see all the databases are displaying here, right? So this is the way of hiding the databases using simple, user properties, and that's how it is restricting your databases. Okay, so thanks for listening this video, and please subscribe this channel for more videos. Thank you.